Let's start with the overall performance of the market, that rallying price of oil, and really the implications for the inflation outlook.
Well, the market seems to have discounted it. I don't think it's really built in. What's driving us upwards is still the commodity market and a view that things are going to be better from now on. Commodity prices continue to go up. You mentioned oil, but it's not only oil that we expect to go up, it's all other commodities, which include the soft commodities. So that's a driving force. And we saw gold shares up for the first time in a couple of days, because gold shares have actually been the disappointing sector since the beginning of the year. But overall, outside of the big shares, the very high cap shares, there's still big demand for South African incorporated companies. And I think that's been another feature, the small and medium cap sector, which is responding to views that, things will get better from now on.
Right, let's move on to some company news now. So Old Mutual increased death claims have had an impact on their profits. And I suppose this is a similar story across the insurance industry.
Yeah, in fact, if you go through the numbers, it was a trading update. And I think what surprised us has been the huge cost of claims, for COVID-19. And very big claims. I mean, they've made a significant, in the first half of the year, they made a provision, but they've had to increase that dramatically. And, even in the first few months of this year, the claims have been, quite excessive. So I think that's going to be a feature of the whole industry. No one expected it to be as high as it is at the moment. They've got the money, they've made the provisions, but I think it is, sapping results. So if you look at the pure numbers that came out of Old Mutual, really difficult number, but the market moved them down a bit. But I think this is something we've got to watch very, very carefully.
Right. So another thing I don't think we were expecting: Liverpool losing its 6th game in a row at home. Massmart is no different than them here at home, are they?
No, you had to put that in. I'm not a Liverpool supporter. I'm actually an Arsenal supporter, but I am celebrating. The thing with Massmart is that we're seeing it's a turnaround situation. The company has written off a lot of its investments, as you mentioned as well in the introduction. They are getting rid of some non-performing companies and non-core businesses as well. The shares were up 21% today on very poor results. And even if you look at the outlook from management, they're still warning about the consumer and issues that they have to face. But I think the market brushing that aside and now looking to perhaps a regenerated Massmart down the line. But for me, still a lot of issues to get through before we can actually celebrate. So you did right to compare them to Liverpool.
So one that company or shareholders are celebrating this one, AVI declaring a special dividend after being able to produce or significantly reduce its debt.
Yeah, I think that the market focused more on the numbers. At the end of the day, that special dividend is our money, and all they're doing is saying, we don't know what to do with it, we're going to give it to you. We've reduced our debt, you're entitled to an extra dividend. But I think it was a mixed number, and it's quite interesting when you actually go through those numbers, because on the food side, the Irvin and Johnson side, they couldn't export abalone, which is a delicacy in China, had issues with that. On the other side, their brands, Baker biscuits, tea, coffee, creamer, all of those doing very well, which we've seen already, in the grocery numbers as well. That side, very, very strong side. As the makeup side, their cosmetic and fragrances and that. So mixed numbers coming out of their clothing side also under a bit of pressure. But I like this business. I think it's a very solid number in difficult circumstances.
Brilliant. As always, David Shapiro, many thanks for your time this afternoon. And that's David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities.